Good evening, everyone. Francis Lugoloobi is my name, and it's me presenting this evening. Let's pray. Father, we thank you for this humble gathering. We request you to be in our midst as we discuss matters related to work. Teach us how to work, and let our work be beautiful. We thank you in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Today we are talking about why work and when to work. A concept like work, which involves all who have lived, may be taken for granted. People may think that they know what work is and why they work, of course, or when they should or should not work. Before we divulge into why we work or when we should work, I think we should first be clear about what work is. We have someone who is very good at language, and that is Mr. Peter Selwicke. Mr. Peter Selwicke, what is work? Because I may apply physics to it and accounts. Before I apply physics and accounts to it and finance to it, what is work in language?
I don't know whether I can use language but according to me, when you work, you do something in order to change its state. When you do something
in order to change
the state of affairs or state, then we say you have worked.
Okay. One of the fields I love so much is physics, and in my senior for UCE, I remember it's the only science where I got a distinction, a D1. And I remember work in physics or in science is applying effort. Whenever you apply energy or effort or force, whenever you apply it onto something, that effort may be physical or mental. Whenever you apply it with an aim of changing something, whatever you're applying it towards, that is work. That means that work is application of energy or effort, usually for a positive end, for an increase in something or to alleviate a problem. That is work. So most people think that all of us should work. Most people think all of us should work, or everyone should work, and everyone should work for the same end, or to solve the same problems. So that's what we're going to see. But before we get there, let's first look at the good book. What does Genesis 2:15 tell us about work? We're going to look at 3 verses. Genesis chapter 2, verse 15.
The Lord took the man and put him in the garden of Eden to work it and take care of it.
The Lord took man and put him in the garden of Eden to work it and to take care of it. That means that from the beginning, God's intention in creation was partly, it will not be wholly, to put man in the environment that created. God has created an environment and he put man in that garden to work that environment. Not only the garden, but the whole environment. The environment which included plants, animals, everything, the mountains, the valleys, the plains, the water, the different forms of energies were all created for man to work them, to apply effort to those elements for a better end. 2 Thessalonians chapter 3 verse 10. What does this tell us?
2 Thessalonians
chapter 3 verse 10.
For even when we were with you, we gave you this rule: the one who is unwilling to work shall not eat.
The apostles gave the Christians, the early Christians, a rule that they should all work, or else they should not eat. So even in Christianity, in its very early stages, the first Christians were encouraged, actually were ordered to work, or else they should not benefit from the fruits of work. So, I asked two questions. Why work? Is the first one. And the second question, which I'll attempt to answer, is when should I or you work? Most people think that we work in order to solve our lifestyle problems or our lifestyle demands. Even the verse we read says that those who do not work should not get the benefits of working. As I usually tell people that we have about 9 lifestyle demands or needs in this world. If you want to fulfill them, usually you work. So the main reason why people work, or most people think that they should work, they should apply energy or effort to do things so that they get a positive end, is to get resources to enable them to achieve the lifestyle ends. And the lifestyle ends are, if I may list them, eating, number 2, clothing, number 3, healthcare, number 4, shelter or accommodation, number 5, communication, number 6, transport or movement, number 7, the search for knowledge, or trying to get knowledgeable or informed about different things in this world, which includes education. That was what, 7? That's 7. Number 8. Number 8 is entertainment. Actually, the pinnacle of working. When most people have worked the most and have achieved the best results of work, the best form of reward is entertainment. Yes. When human beings, let me use most because when most human beings, over 99% of human beings, whenever we work and we achieve the other 7 needs or ends we work for, if we have any remainder of balance, the ultimate aim is to be entertained. That is number 8. End number 8. Actually, most people who do not have enough resources, they don't get the 8th one. Most people don't get, when you don't get enough resources, you try getting the other 7, but most of them don't get entertained. Or they get basic coming with entertainment. People who get the best results of work usually get entertained. It's the ultimate of working. The ultimate fruit of work. Entertainment. Then of course number 9 is, I call it sociological needs. If you call sociological needs, those are people who depend on us. That's your family and friends. Or people you will find along the way. So the number one reason why we work is to meet our lifestyle needs or ends. And those are the 9 lifestyle ends which I've talked about. Then we have another reason why we work. Not everyone works because they want to fulfill those lifestyle needs. No. Why? There is a very tiny fraction which is less than 1% in this world. I don't know the exact percentage. But there are people who, from the moment they start understanding the happenings of this world, those ends are met. You get me? There are people, when they learn from this, those ends are already made perpetually or until they die, they will die. And not only them, but even of their offsprings. Let me give you an example. There are some families which have, ever since I was a child, their families have heard of. There are 2 Indian families I've heard of. The Mukwano family and the Madhwani family. And those families, their wealth was created decades back. And when that wealth was created, the generation which created the wealth passed on. And whichever generations which come after, they find those resources available for them to enjoy, to meet those needs. So, to those families, the Mukwanos and the Madhvanis, and I think the future Sudils, they may not need to work to make those 9 ends. Because there are enough resources for them and their offspring, even if they don't work again. So, these people need another reason why to work. And this guy, and I'll tell you, this guy is work. And the funny thing may be, those guys may work more than those of us who need to work for the 9 ends. So, there is another reason to work. The other reason why we work, actually, this other reason why we work is the same reason why people who have achieved their ends in life work. There are people in life, those people who are financially literate and intelligent, when they achieve enough resources to sustain them for the remainder of their lives and to help around their dependents, they also keep working. Why? Yeah, and that's the reason why we work. Why? Working helps us keep healthy and fit. Working helps us to keep healthy and fit. Yesterday, I was with there was a young lady whom I'm taking care of in school. So I pay her school fees and all that. So she came home to discuss about her next term's school fees and requirements and all that. She came home at my home at about 10. She did find me at home, 10 a.m. She walked towards where my office is and she found me working. I was cleaning the compound, carrying bricks, carrying rubbish, moving sand from place to place. I remember even at one point I cleaned my vehicle. Then she calls me Grandpa. Then she said, Grandpa, where I work from about 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. She asked me why. She watched me work for some of those hours. She said, do you work like this all the time? I said, no. Then she asked me, why do you work why I work for so long today? Then I told her, I work because I want to keep fit. I wanted to lose, I take hours every week to lose weight. and to keep fit. And for me, in order for me to keep fit, I prefer doing gainful work while I'm keeping fit. I don't like jogging. I prefer to do something which will benefit me, which has another benefit while I'm keeping fit. So there are many people who work to keep fit. There's that small fraction or percentage which works to keep fit. There is another, even in keeping fit to work, there is also being fit mentally. Many people, have you seen people who work for long and they retire at about 70? People who have worked, like someone works from their mid-20s or early 20s and retired and they've had an office job. They sit at a desk, work a computer, look through papers, babysitting, and they spend all those many hours and many years from the early 20s to 70 working. I was reading some literature about work recently, and I discovered that many people have been in office, especially doing non-manual work or white-collar work. They die in the first 5 years after retiring. People who have been doing white-collar work, when they retire, most of them die within the first 5 years of retirement. Let it be at 65, they die before 70. Or if they retire at 70, they'll die before 75. Why? Because they've lost a routine. The brain goes idle. The brain goes idle. It's not tasked to do anything, and it dies off. I was trying to read the scientific explanation, and it was explaining it vaguely like that. That when you that means that even when you stop gainfully working, you should find something else to occupy your mind so that it's active in order to keep alive. So, some people work in order to keep alive. Actually, the main reason why personally I work nowadays, the main reason is not the 9 aims, lifestyle aims, which I talked about earlier. The main reason why I work is I want my brain to keep fit and my body to keep fit. So, those watching and listening to me, even when you've made the 9 lifestyle aims or needs, you should keep working in order for you to keep your mind active and your body active. Otherwise, you will die off very quickly. However, many resources are at your disposal. So, those are the 2 main reasons why we work. You may have others, but one is to fulfill the 9 lifestyle aims, and 2 is to keep fit and to keep sharp and active.
Physically
and mentally. The second question which I asked is, when should we work? When should you and me work? I summarized it, when should we work? But what I meant is, when should we gainfully work? Because not all work is gainful financially. That's why there are some people who have not-for-profit organizations where they do work but with no aim of making ends meet or making profits or money. Because working gainfully is working with an aim of earning a profit. I remember telling you in a previous talk that the word business comes from 2 English words: busy and another noun, ness. busy, business is being busy, increasing resources, or making profits. So the main reason why people work or are busy working, people are busy working in order to increase their resources or to make profits. Making profits is the same as increasing resources. So that's the work which is known mostly by people, the work which aim at making profits. Now, in the realm of the work which is aimed at making profits or increasing resources, and those resources are geared towards making sure that we meet those lifestyle needs, the name of them. When should we work gainfully? That's the question I'm asking. Because I've seen people working gainfully all their lives. I've seen people who have worked from when they left school to when we put them in their graves. But when should we work gainfully? As I explained earlier, there are times when you can work ungainfully, but to keep yourself fit. So when should you work gainfully? There should be a period in our lives, when we should be working. Someone in their 20s and 30s should be working intensively. In the 20s and 30s, that's the time when any individual should work maximally. You should put all your brain cells and your muscles to working gainfully. The best, scientifically, the best, your brain is most active. Your brain is most active, and your muscles are their prime in the 20s and 30s. And those are the elements which you need to work. You need to work when your brain cells are performing at their best, and when your muscles and all your body organs are at their best. Which better time is there to work than then? And those are the 20s and 30s. At 40, that's when your brain cells, now our body works in such a way that when our cells die, when parts of our bodies, that's the cells die, they are replaced by others. Now, at around 40 years of age, the rate at which our cells, different cells of our body organs, different organs of the body, are replaced, the rate at which the cells are replaced is lower than the rate at which they die. Did you know that? From 40 onwards, the rate at which your body cells die is faster than the rate at which they are replaced. That means that you are not sharp at thinking, you are not sharp at all your body organs are performing below par. Actually, in accounts and finance body depreciation, the rate at which your body depreciates is higher than the rate at which your body is replenished. So that means that you should utilize the time when your body is at its peak. That is the time when the rate at which the depreciation is equal to the body depreciation is equal to the rate at which the body is replenished. That's the time when you should work at your best, because all the organs of your body are working at their best. That means that the efficiency at which you work is very high. You are bound to produce more. Actually, most people who are above 40, what they have gained, which is better than those in the 20s and 30s, is experience. We beat those people in the 20s and 30s at experience. We've gone through so much, and we've learned so much, and we perfected certain skills through repetition, and that's what we call experience. And that's why we perform certain tasks well or better than the other people because of experience, but not because of ability. Not because of natural abilities, because of experience. So, the best times for anyone to work is the 20s and the 40s. Actually, for me, when I learned about this when I was in 2009. I was 30 years of age. 2009, I remember. I was 31. 2009. I was 31 when I learned in October actually. So I learned this. And I made it my life goal from then to retire from gainful work at 40. Or at least to partially retire at 40. That was my goal when I was 30. To retire at 40, because my brain would have reduced its functionality and my body would have made its functionality. And I was lucky I semi-retired when I was 39. So, the 20s and 30s is the best time. That's when you should gainfully work. From 39, I've been working less gainfully. Whatever work I'm doing is to keep myself fit, busy, but mostly is that the little gain I get is just accidental to what's incidental. My aim is to work to keep my body fit, but as I'm working to keep my body fit, I still earn. And since then I've been working for 4 hours every day. On average, I work for 5 days a week, 4 hours a day to keep myself busy. So after 40, after 40, you should reduce your work, gainful working hours. The English have a saying that life begins at 40. I researched about why they coined that saying that life begins at 40. They made an assumption that by 40, someone should have amassed enough resources to keep them happy, to keep their lifestyle, the other 9 elements of the lifestyle, in a good replenished, so in a good enough condition, without having to work a lot. I remember one time I was telling you that there are 2 types of poor people. We have poor, because for you to be rich, you must have 2 elements in plenty. 1, you must have resources which you gain through work, or which someone else gained through work and placed at your disposal, if you are one of the lucky few. And the second element in which you must be rich, you must have time in which to use the resources. Yeah. So if you are missing one of those, you are poor. Yes. If you are missing one of those, you are poor. One time I met one of my clients. This gentleman was, my net worth is about 1 billion, mine. This gentleman's net worth is about 100 billion. So I told him that, gentleman, actually I told him father, because he's my father's age. I told him that you are poor. I told him you are 100 times richer than me, but you are broke. You are poor. You are 100 times financially richer than me. Your resources are 100 times the resources I have. But you are broke, you are poor. Then he asked me, Mutamani, He came driving. Okay, we met at a hotel, and he came driving. I was driving a 20 million vehicle. he was driving a 200 million vehicle. And he came with his wife. He bought me lunch and he paid me. And here I was telling him that he's broke, and I told him I'm rich. I went on to make another statement before I explain anything, that my life is far much better than yours. I live a far much better lifestyle than yours. And the gentleman listened. At the end of our conversation, he was convinced that he was broke. Because he had the resources, but he did not have the time to consume the resources. So, you should work. When you should work in the 20s and 30s in order to accumulate enough resources so that by the time you are in the 40s, you have enough time to use the resources. You are both time rich and resources rich. If you are gainfully, if you wake up at 5 every morning and rush to your day job, and then leave your day job at 5, and driving home in jam, in Ugandan jam, and getting home at 8 p.m. when you are too tired even to enjoy your 300, 400, 500 million home. You are even too tired to enjoy your 200, 300 million vehicle. And you earn 40 or 50 millions. It's your houseboy, your shamba boy, your housemate who live a rich man's lifestyle known to you. They have the time and the resources to enjoy the lifestyle. So, in order for you to have both time and resources, you should find a way of working in the 20s and 30s. And you should not work. People have been told wrongly. The capitalist society has told people to work hard in order for them to be successful. You should not work hard. People who earn money are those who work smart. Not the ones who use muscle. The ones who use muscle work hard. The ones who use brain cells more, you should use both, but you should use brain cells more than your muscles and tendons. Smart work pays better and will create more resources for you to be around at 40 plus with enough time to utilize those resources. In the 40s, you should work less gainfully for fewer hours. And those hours, the reason why you should work in the 40s is to help you. In my mother tongue, Luganda, we have a word called okutanya. You first dig orima, then after, what is that? What is it in English? How can I phrase it in English? You do the donkey work first, then afterwards you. How do you harrowing or something? Okutanya is after weeding, after the kabala, then weeding, then okutanya. You go back to where you started digging from, and you start okutanya. You remove polishing. Yeah, it's polishing the finished work too. So in the 40s and early 50s, the only reason why someone who did the donkey work in the 20s and 30s is working for those few hours is okutanya, is to polish the good work or the donkey work which they have done, to make sure that they retain. In the 40s, you shouldn't be accumulating more wealth. You shouldn't be looking at wealth accumulation. You should be looking at wealth affirmation. You are just making sure that whatever you made in the 20s and 30s is retainable, well usable. You should make sure that the resources you accumulated are not depleted by you working less hours. Yeah. That's what they call ukutanya. So the 40s and early 50s should be, if you are doing any gainful work, it should be for a few hours. If other people work for 8 hours now, in Uganda and most British former colonies and protectorates, people work for 8 hours. They work for 8 working hours. There are 8 working hours. And usually they are at work for 9 hours, but then they have a break of 1 hour, breaks of 1 hour, and they work for 8 hours. You shouldn't be working 8 hours, working hours, gainful hours after 40. You can cut them down to 6, to 4. And then the reason why you're working even then is to make sure that the gains you make are not depleted. And in that way, you're working even more smarter than harder. You're using your brain more. Because in the 20s and 30s help you create what we call passive income sources. When you're working in the 20s and 30s, as you're approaching the 40s, you should try to create passive income sources. Passive income sources are those sources of income which are going to generate for you income when you're not actively working. Yes. You've set up a farm, you've set up a small business, you've set up a factory, you've set up a workshop, you've bought bonds, you've bought treasury bills, you've bought shares, lots of shares, you put up rentals for apartments, and these businesses you set up, you've created systems for those businesses. Don't only set them up, you've created systems for those businesses such that those businesses don't need your full attention for them to make money. Actually, by the time you make 50, those businesses should be able to run without you there. They should run themselves. So, in the 40s, you should be making sure that whatever businesses you've been setting up, now you're setting up systems for them to run without your presence. So that at 50, now we go to the 50s, at 50, you should be able even to live without any form of gainful work. Yeah. Whereby all your work is purely for health benefits, for keeping your body fit and your brain fit. And the businesses or the passive income sources are producing enough money without you being there to run your life or to run your dream life. So, when you should work maximally, using your brain and your hands or legs or whatever you're using. But as I told you, you should work more smartly than, you should use your brain more than your muscles. Yes. Because brain work coupled with a little muscle work usually brings in more money or more resources. And it's more sustainable. And even if your income comes from money work, you should create your business in such a way that you can semi-retire at 40 and fully retire at 50. By setting up systems in the 40s or in the late 30s, you set up systems whereby by the time you're 50, the business or whatever enterprise you have can work itself. Even when you're in your grave, the business is working itself for the people whom you left behind. So, when to work? 20s, 30s, full-time work. 40s, part-time work. 50, meant to put up systems to keep your resources, to maintain these resources, or to keep them alive even when you're gone. 50, fully retire from gainful work. And you can stay working in working just to keep yourself physically fit and mentally fit. So that's the ideal of when to work painfully. But if you are unfortunate and you are still working full-time work, you are in the 40s and 50s, you are still in full-time work, try to find ways of speeding up your partial retirement. Try to find ways of, because your body and head is not working at its peak. The brain cells are dying faster than they're being replenished. And you need to have time in order to enjoy those resources. Even if you're getting 50 millions a month or 100 millions a month, but then you're working 10 hours a day, 8 hours a day, my friend, you are poor. You need to be rich in time in order to enjoy the resources. By knowing why you work and when you work.